Alright, so for this video, I was just going to talk over the reasons why I joined the Marine Corps and my decisions leading up to, or why I decided to enlist in the first place. In this video, I was going to fill in the gaps between the last video that I posted before boot camp, which was about a year ago whenever I was still in high school. So, my plans after high school were to, it's pretty much like the typical, like, I don't know, not really American dream, but like what everybody does. It's, I don't even want to say that, but I wanted to go to college. I had this college I really wanted to go to, and I fell in love with it as soon as I stepped foot in the place, and it was Culver-Sharpton College. It's a fine arts college, and I was going to go there for photography and design, because that's what I really love. One day I want to have my own like photography setup and studio and all that. So we went there. I put in an application for a scholarship, and they gave me around $25,000 a year for my scholarship. Problem being was that even with the scholarship, we still had to pay around $10,000 a year to cover the complete cost of tuition and all that. So we weren't going to take out any student loans because I didn't want to be riddled with student debt. I didn't want any of that hassle in my life later on down the road after I graduated college. So I decided that I was going to enroll in a community college that's about right down the street from my house. It's Maple Woods Community College. It's a really good community college. So I enrolled in there. I was just going to knock out like the general stuff. So now I got to Culver-Sharpton, I could pursue and dedicate more time to what I really love, which is photography and design. So we're doing all that, and then one day, at the very tail end of July, I received I just received a phone call, and my ringer was on from the night before. I don't know why I left it on, but I'm glad I did. And it was my recruiter, calling me. And he was like, "Hey," and he sold me on it, on Marine Corps. He's like, "Hey, just come in, this weekend, and we'll talk to you about it, see what's right for you, and, maybe sign some papers." And at that time, I was thinking, I'll I had the mindset I was going to go to boot camp, like, March of, like, this year. Like, after, right around, like, February of this year, that was my original plan to go to boot camp. And that was my original ship date. My original ship date was January 19th, something like that. And I remember I was going to college, and getting up at like 5 in the morning, going to class, and getting out at like 2 o'clock, going to PT, getting off of that, and then going to work. I worked at Olive Garden as a server, host, just about everything except for busser and bar and to-goes. So I did that for like three weeks or so, whenever college did start in September. And I remember I got really tired of the college setup. And I'm not bashing on anybody that, is a student or is going to college. It just, that college, the way it was set, wasn't for me. I didn't like it. I felt like I was back in high school again. Like I was teaching myself rather than being taught. I didn't really like that. So I ended up dropping out of college, and I got my ship date pushed up to December 5th. That's my next planned ship date to ship out for boot camp. And the hardest thing for me was to explain to my parents that, hey, I want to leave. I want to join the Marine Corps, and I want to leave, and I want to do this, and this. And it was a complete shock to them because they didn't know. I had never really told them, and that was one of the hardest conversations I've ever had to have. And it was also really hard on my relationship at the time. Because like as soon as we got together, I had already dipped in like a couple days before, and so we spent like 3 months together, and then I had to leave for boot camp. But another reason why I explained to my parents that I wanted to take control of my life because I felt like I didn't have any control. I felt like I wasn't making my own path, and there are a lot of reasons for that. I remember getting out of high school, and I wasn't prepared for the fact that all of your close friends just scatter like the wind if you don't go to the same college as them. And it hit me kind of hard because I lost all my good buddies. They were most of them were playing football and wrestling and all this stuff, and I lost them. I felt I was really lonely, actually. I just felt lost, and I felt that the Marine Corps could get that sense of brotherhood that I loved so much in high school from football, wrestling, and track. I wanted that feeling back, to be a part of something bigger than myself. There's a bigger picture involved, and I loved that. And so, and then I got my ship date pushed up again, right around August, September, right around October-ish, early October, late September. I got my ship date pushed up again because of some family problems, and I couldn't stay and watch the things that were going on at home. I just couldn't stomach it anymore. So I got my ship date pushed up to November 7th. Yeah, November 7th. And that really hit everybody kind of harder, because then they had to adjust the plans that they already had, and I kind of felt really bad for that for a while. So then I leave for boot camp, and I remember standing on those famous yellow footprints and being like, what did I just get myself into? I think for every Marine that is the moment where like, holy crap, what did I just do? That's when it really hits you that the next 3 months is really, it's going to be a test. And for me, the hardest part was the first month of boot camp was really hard for me until right around swim week. Up until swim week, it was really hard, because at that point the drill instructors they're breaking you down. They're trying to get all your civilian habits and you being an individual and trying to break that down and turn you into a team. And it was really hard. And you also had to work together with 70 plus other men from different regions across the United States. And it's very stressful. They don't leave you alone. You're around them 24/7. And another hard thing was being gone for the holidays. I missed Thanksgiving, I missed Christmas, I missed New Year's. I missed all of that. And our squad leaders got a phone call on Christmas. The rest of us never did. And we were okay with that. By that point, we were already in phase 2, already up at Camp Pendleton. And we had already adjusted somewhat. And then I remember getting down to Camp Pendleton, and then we go back to MCRD San Diego for phase 3. And at that point, it kind of hits you like, oh my god, like we're so close. You can finally see the light at the end of the tunnel. The drone shooters are finally starting to lay off you just a little bit, but not too much. You're still getting IT'd like crazy, but not as bad. and you're starting to get prepped for final drill, battalion commander's inspection, T-Day 55, all that fun stuff. And you're also, in the back of your head, you have the image of the Crucible. That defining moment where you're Eagle Globe and Anchor for the first time, and you're Joint Instructor Deployed Marine. And I remember our Crucible, it sucked. The company that came before us was Lima Company, and they were 2 weeks ahead of us. And they were the last company to go through the Crucible, and they couldn't climb the Reaper because it was raining so horribly that the safety Vic could not get up the Reaper. It kept sliding back. And so when we get to the Crucible, everything is still flooded. Like the foxholes on the bayonet assault course are filled all the way to the top full of water. Everything's just wet and washed out and muddy. And I will never forget climbing that Reaper and the first hill you get there, and we're like the 4th platoon back, and the honor platoon goes up, and they shine a light. So it's very early in the morning. It's like 4-ish, 5 in the morning. I don't remember exactly, but there's no light. The sun isn't up yet, and they shine a light up the side of the mountain, and they just look like little ants, and they're just on the first hill. And at that point, we're like, oh my god. Whew. At that point, you start doubting yourself a little bit. You start joking like, can we go back, please? At that point. But I remember climbing it, and you get to the base of it, and you reach out in front of you, and you touch dirt. That is how steep the Reaper is. And you got to go up that thing with that main pack on and all that. And the people that got IT'd a lot during boot camp did excellent on that first hill of the Reaper. All those mountain climbers they did really kicked in. I remember you had recruits just falling over, almost falling off the side of the mountain. They weren't watching their footing, and everything's kind of washed out a little bit from the rain that we had been getting. And you climb that first hill, and you give that first hill all you got, and you're like, oh my god, that was the Reaper, right? That was it. We can get our Eagle Globe and Anchor and go back to the barracks. Nope, there's 6 other hills that you gotta climb. And it just seems like it never stops, because by that point you already hiked 6 miles out to the base of the Reaper, and you're tired and you're hungry, you haven't really eaten anything. And we had an apple to go off of. And you finally get to the top. You finally get to the top of the Reaper. And you form up just like you had practiced beforehand for the Eagle Globe and Anchor ceremony. And even before we climbed that last hill, they stopped us and everything and told us what we were going to do, a lot of us were already emotional, even just thinking about earning that title. And then we finally climbed it, and we're in that formation. And I remember just standing there with my hand out, and my drone instructor Sergeant Mora, placed that Eagle Globe and Anchor in my hand, and it's something that you can never describe, that feeling, unless you have actually gone through it. And I remember just thinking, holy crap, past 3 months, oh my god, it came to this point. And I was crying like a little girl. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not ashamed of that. It was very emotional. And we're all happy and excited, and oh my god, we're finally Marines. We're also really happy that meant that ITing could stop. So we're like, alright, sweet. And we're all excited. And then we had to hike back down the Reaper. And that sucked the most, and we always joked that we were a trained as part mountain goat because we had to go down this steep, very steep hill, and everything's washed out. So there's just big rocks in the way. And at first it started taking like a slow pace down it, and then the drill instructor was like, "No, you're gonna we're on a time schedule here. You gotta hurry up." And we basically kind of like ran/jogged down this mountain, and we're all tired and everything. And then after we did that, we had the Warriors breakfast, which was amazing. And then we go to turn on our gear, which when we turned on our main packs, I was so happy because I could finally just get rid of that. It was so amazing. And then we get back to MCRD San Diego, and we are finally that company on base that is Marines. We are Marines at that point. Nobody else on base has that title of Marine. And I remember we turn in our canteens and all the gear that we got issued down to MCRD, and so they gave us a water bottle. That was our water source. And whenever we saw somebody with a water bottle to the MCRD, you knew that they had already earned their title and that they were a Marine. They was waiting for graduation. And so it felt really awesome to finally have that. And so by that point, you're practicing for Family Day and Battalion Commander's Inspection and all of that stuff. And then Family Day gets there. Family Day, it's finally there. You finally get to see your family. And I remember her all so excited, and when you finally see your family after 3 months, it was the best feeling ever. And then graduation, of course, was amazing. And then as soon as they say, platoon 1025 dismissed, and he said, "Alright, Staff Sergeant," and get off the depot, I grabbed my sea bag and my body bag, and I booked it. I was off the depot in 3 minutes flat. And, I went back home and enjoyed my 10 days of leave, which was really sick because we had to drive back home from San Diego to Kansas City, Missouri. It was a long haul. We did stop and see the Grand Canyon, which is pretty awesome. And so enjoy your 10 days of boot leave, and then you're shipped right off to MCT. We were MCT, SOI West. And we had to leave Valentine's Day. That was our goodbye day. It was Valentine's Day, and it really kind of sucked. And then I'll touch on MCT in some other videos because it was a really fun experience. I loved MCT so much. At times it makes me wish I really would have gone 03. Which reminds me, I'm an 0612. I'm a field wireman. So yeah. And then after you graduate MCT, you go out to your respective MOS school, which means right now I am sitting in beautiful sunny 29 Palms, waiting to pick up class. And I've been here for right around 6 weeks, waiting to pick up class. So yeah, I'll have more videos coming out soon. I just bought a GoPro yesterday, which is what I'm filming this on right now instead of my iPhone 7, while I wait for my Nikon to finally arrive in the mail. It should be coming here pretty soon. So the quality will be a lot better. There'll actually be a depth of field and all that good stuff. So yeah, thank you for watching.